Now, I love a literary device known as foreshadowing. The hint that something really special is coming, something wonderful, something totally unexpected. Either in novels, movies, or plays, we start to find ourselves paying a little more attention to what's happening. Such a moment came to the Austin Prep cross country team on Saturday, October 30th, 1976. On that morning at Franklin Park, the team ran to their first state championship in Division IV. Throughout that year, Coach Bruce Lehane had prepared them well. They'd been 7-2 in dual meets, good enough for third place. That first win was commemorated with an MIAA plaque. But when you look back in hindsight, the evidence of the work of three truly committed underclassmen, juniors Billy Welch and Blaise Conti, and sophomore Andy Parisi, were setting the stage for the 1977 season. Under the guidance of head coach Tom McDonough, assisted by Austin Prep alum and Dartmouth College student Kevin Callahan as his assistant coach, those expectations were more than realized. Unbeaten in the Merrimack Valley Conference with a 9-0 record. 9 races run against 2 defending and 3 future state championship teams. Billerica and Methuen had won in 1976. Chelmsford joined Austin in 1977. Tewksbury and Andover both won in 1978. Every one of the 9 runners on that team had run sub 16 minutes on the Austin Prep course during that year. By the season's end, they had run off 14 straight dual meet victories in the Merrimack Valley, a school record that still stands. 9 races. In reviewing those races, who were the leading runners? Well, one time, up at the Drake at Town Forest, it was Tom Callahan. In a home meet against Lawrence, well, it was Andy Parisi. But in the other 7 races, whether home or away, it was junior Dave Sheehan. Sheehan was assessed by his teammates as the quiet leader they all looked up to. Now, in interviewing you, you all mentioned the joy of training together every day and the precise organization of Coach Tom McDonough, who would go on to be chosen Coach of the Year by the Lowell Sun. Now, the Eastern Mass Division IV race was run on Saturday, October 29th. We would be the 5th and final race of the day. The day slowly ebbed on, race after race, hour after hour. Nervous anticipation. 1,500 runners from 214 schools came to run on that 2.9-mile course. When that race finally ended at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the top 5 runners who had scored for the team that day, Sheehan, Parisi, Callahan, Joe Geary, and Captain Bill Welch, had all broken 16:10 on the Franklin Park White Stadium course. Austin had defended its state title 124 points, a 17-point win over Westwood. Absolutely amazing and unprecedented in Austin Prep sports history. Tonight we honor your team for this accomplishment with the induction into the Austin Prep Athletic Hall of Fame. To help me introduce the team are this year's cross-country captains Brendan Sullivan and Lizzie McDonough. Let me begin by calling up the coaching staff. The head coach, Mr. Tom McDonough, and the assistant coach, Kevin Callahan. The team captain, Bill Welch. We are very proud and honored that representing deceased team member Joe Geary, whom we all miss and remember with great affection and fondness for his part in the Austin Prep class of 1978, will be represented by his brother Bill Geary, class of 1975. Bill is an active member of the Austin Alumni Council, and he has with him tonight both Bill and Joe's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Geary. Andy Parisi. Dave Sheehan. Bob Wilson. Kevin Yanian. Mark Sturzo. And lastly, the team spokesman chosen for the team, Tom Callahan.
Use one of these in my business. Amazing honor being up here with my teammates, the other inductees, Paul Shea, unbelievable. Where are you? Inspiring, everybody, incredibly inspiring. Mr. Gramling and stole my speech. And Paul, you contributed to stealing my speech. So, running for us, well, first of all, let me just say, we haven't seen each other, some of us, in 34 years, and we saw each other last night for dinner. And I know Billy's hungover still. Dave was riding the bus. I also want to mention my brother here, Kevin, who's in Seattle. I live in California. I flew out here for this, and it's great to see people like Bobby Coppinger, who I was in school with, and great to see him and some other people. My brother was New England Minor champion, if you don't know Kevin, in 419 high school. And he was at Dartmouth, took some time off to assist Coach McDonough, and basically Kevin took over the, with all due respect, took over the varsity kind of squad because he had all the experience running. He ran with us and trained with us along with Coach McDonough. So I just want to give my brother a special shout out because he flew in from Seattle for this as well. And amazing athlete. I just wrote some notes to share as I was having a couple of cocktails myself, actually, and everybody contributed to this. So I just want to say, and I hope Paul will agree with this, and people that have done a lot of distance running and running in general. There are a few sports like cross country, and I think it was mentioned earlier. There's an individual recognition as well as a team sport. So you're getting both. You run through the snow and the rain, and throughout the summer we trained, and we weren't together running as a team. We were basically calling each other making each other run, so we not only improve as individuals and have that recognition, but also obviously contribute to the team. So we were always training and trying to one-up each other. As Mr. Gramling was mentioning, we all had our share of the spotlight. At one occasion, we were all winning races. Dave Sheehan, this guy was crazy, and just grew from out of nowhere. He came and just would exclaim, for whatever reason, we're not quite sure. I won't get to that part, I guess. Okay. Yeah, you understand, right? So we obviously had so much fun, but I also want to mention that the success of our team in particular was a culmination of so many great runners and coaches that came before us, like the Godfather Mark Duggan over here, and also Coach Bruce Lane, who we had dinner with last night, who is the coach of the Boston University team, amazing runner, my brother, of course. So we were trained by these guys, and we looked up to them. We were running with the Greater Boston Track, Bill Rogers today, and all these, and Mark Duggan, and he's a great runner. So as Dave mentioned, we had won the states the year before. We had the state championship in '77, and then unfortunately both Dave Sheehan and myself were injured in '78, and we certainly, hopefully, I think we would have three-peated if we weren't injured. So I'm sorry about that, guys. I know Dave's been depressed about that for the last 30 years. So I just want to mention every one of these guys is unique in their own way and talented and just wonderful guys. And we were just reminiscing last night, having a lot of laughs, as you can imagine. In many places, team sports, you get very close to your teammates, and they become family, of course. Especially on, as Paul was mentioning, on those long distance runs. We typically weren't quiet though, Paul. We were doing crazy stuff like getting our pants taken off by one guy and running home from Wilmington with no pants on, things like that. But I digress. So I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about each one of these guys on stage here, just briefly. And most people don't know, incidentally, that cross country can be a contact sport. You know, where it's not like, oh, you guys are running. You know, this can be a contact sport. A lot of elbows being thrown, and when you go into the woods and you're running, as Mark will know, Paul will know, and everybody up here, a lot of shenanigans goes on, you know, we're fighting for position and so on. So Sturzo, youngest one of us here, fierce competitor. One of the gentlemen that's not here tonight was a ridiculous track star, Blaise Conti. And he coined a phrase, which was fight for your position and shut up. That was what he used to say. And Sturzo really took this to heart. And during one of the meets against Draker, one of the biggest guys had been throwing elbows and running and blocking us, other Austin runners, from getting ahead. And so Mark is just, we're all right there, saw this with our own eyes, jumped on the guy's back and started strangling him. Took the guy out and like sacrificed himself for the team. So, and we won that meet handily. He did have a fist fight after that, but it was he had Kevin with us, so we were fine. Billy Welch, our captain, bookworm, always had his homework with him. Solid year all year long. Dave Sheehan, as I mentioned, motivated exclusively by the exclamation guacamole. Yeah, no one knows really why we're afraid to ask. We had no idea. We just knew that he meant it when he said it, and he was winning. So it's like, leave him alone. Bob Wilson. He was Mr. Consistent. This guy was, you knew he was always in a place. So you knew you were good because Bob was always in a place and gave you the points. The next year, senior year, Bob went on to take 7th place in the States in the 1978 meet, and then on to BC and competed and had a good career. Kevin Yannian, over here, was a quiet, unsuspecting one. I know his family's here. Your dad is an amazing individual. There they are. Yeah, incredibly father. Awesome guy. And just unsuspecting, the one who would creep up on you, and he was blindingly fast. And it was always had an incredibly strong kick, and as many of you know, was a track standout in the 200 and the 440 as well. Let's see here. Who else we have? We had Andy Paris. Where's Andy? Andy had a great career as a runner. Everyone looked to Andy, was inspired by Andy with his relentless work ethic. Lived and breathed running, was always a top performer, and had an incredible career at Cornell University as well. The two important teammates not here, Blaise Conti, insanely great runner. From the minute he laced up a pair of shoes, is always a force to be reckoned with. Many of you that have been know history, Austin history, know about Blaise Conti. You know his incredible skill and talent and natural ability as a runner. Joe Geary, Joe Geary was, he's no longer with us, as we mentioned, and as tough as they come, literally would stare down the opponents and never back down from the fight. This guy was one of the toughest competitors, toughest guys I ever met. On the inside, totally different, sweet, funny, kept us laughing on those long runs, always laughing. We heard about what happened, we were just so much shock and sadness to this day. We miss him, and I'm sure that, would you like to say a few words about your brother? Just to, so they can share some maybe anecdotes or insight about Joe.
This is a great honor for me. I'm Joe's brother Bill. As David Gramling mentioned, I graduated from Austin in '75, but as Tom said, Joe was a great competitor. One of the toughest guys I ever met. He was my younger brother by 4 years, but at times I had to be afraid of him. But I miss Joe terribly. Joe is a great brother and a great friend, and I'm sure he's very honored that he's part of this tonight. Thank you.
Just a wonderful experience to be flying out from California. I've been out there since 1982, and just to see these guys and know that they've turned out like good human beings. Their families are here. It's wonderful to get to meet you, the families, and to see all of you that I haven't seen in so many years. And it inspired me the self-discipline. I think that's the most thing about running long distance. When you have to get out there, the self-discipline required, you take that to the rest of your life, and whether it's relationships, your business, your work, your family, your kids. And I think that's the most thing that I got out of the run, self-discipline. So I just want to share that with you. Enjoy the rest of the night, and it's been an honor, and thank you, Dave. Appreciate
it. We're going to ask Lizzie and Brendan to give out the trophies to this year's inductee, the 1977 cross-country team. And so the evening's trip is coming to an end. I want to end again with a restated thanks for your attendance tonight. We really appreciate your time, your attendance, and your support, active support of Austin Prep Athletics. Sports at the individual and team level